Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but we want to give a shout out to our partners, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, the Florida Coaches Coalition, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports, and We Coach. You've heard me say many times, these are four great organizations. You should really add them to your network. And now, do me a favor, don't hit that fast forward button. Stay with us for the next 3 minutes. We're going to give our sponsors a shout out. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director or as a coach. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame for their support. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to showcase your school record boards, your school's Hall of Fame, or simply tell more compelling stories about your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to gipper.com, and their team will show you how to start creating world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. Your students are on social media, and if you're not, you're missing out on a great opportunity to celebrate your teams and promote your athletes. Gipper is so easy, even I can do it. Go to gipper.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's gipper.com. We also want to thank Home Campus. Home Campus is the exclusive high school and state association information management platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for things like scheduling, student athlete eligibility and clearance, and a lot more. As an athletic director, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just great, and you'll love it too. For more information, all you have to do is go to homecampus.com. That's homecampus.com. We want to thank Snap Mobile for their support. Go to snapraise.com. That's the website. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you do your job better. You've got the best fundraising platform out there, Snap Raise, but you also have Snap Connect, Snap Store, Snap Manage, and a whole lot more. Go to snapraise.com to see them all. Snapraise.com. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing for their support. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Hometown Ticketing is digital ticketing that offers more support, more security, more customization. Go to hometownticketing.com. They're here to make the best online ticketing solution for you. We want to thank Sideline Interactive for their support. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Their products not only generate income for your athletic department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that demonstration today. We want to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that allowed them to coach our kids at their highest level. Go to huddle.com. We believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. And we want to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to show you how they can create a custom survey that allows you to take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. ADs already hear back from the complainers, the 2% that want to gripe about everything. Athletic Surveys connects you with the 2%, but they also connect you with the 98% that supports your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got a true friend of the show back with us, Destiny Brightman. Regular listeners will recognize that name. Destiny is a certified athletic administrator. She's also one of the 10 all-star athletic directors that we profiled in our new book called All-Star AD. She's the athletic director at Orange Park High School, and that's here in the northeast corner of Florida in what we call Clay County. It's the start of the school year. We're recording this on September 12th, so it'll be pretty timely when you listen to it. Destiny, welcome back to
Thank
Wednesday
you.
Wisdom. And what do you have for listeners?
So I just kind of wanted to talk about it's the beginning of the school year. And we as athletic directors, our biggest, well, I just think that the meat and potatoes of our job is football season, everything that it takes going through it. If listeners, if you've heard before, last year we tore down our stadium. So I had to front load all of my home games. The first 5 games were home, the last 5 games, away. And so we have successfully finished our construction. Super excited. Last week was our very first home game. And I was able to do a ribbon cutting ceremony and showcase the new stadium. Mind you, we hadn't done construction since the 1960s, so this was huge. But I say all this to say that while I was showcasing that, it kind of exposed that there were other areas facility-wise that needed, some paint. I think that just that curb appeal. So when you first, there's one entrance into our stadium. And so when you come through the stadium, I upgraded and did, had some volunteers. If you all can get volunteer workers out there, we worked very closely with a church that came out, some SAC committee members from parents that came out. We did weed eating, anything from around the front of the school to help with the facilities. And then the painting was it just gave it a facelift out there. So, from hanging sponsorship banners, all the things that are very, very important to that public eye. I was able to put up some signage that, just showed the visitors where they go, because that signage is important. But I just kind of wanted to speak on just the facility upgrades that we did out there. I'm super excited about, and just give any type of pointers. We pressure washed. I mean, you'd be surprised at what pressure washing does to, just the sidewalk and your stadium. So I encourage, any athletic directors that, if you haven't pressure washed, it makes a total difference from, the weeds and so those were the things that we did for the ribbon cutting, and the facility just looks great. I've gotten a lot of feedback. And then outside of that, I was super proud. So my next thing was to advertise it on social media, of course, through our athletics page and, my personal page. And so that's always, I have former students that graduated from here that were super excited just about the changes, that they want to come back. So I think that, it's just going to be an exciting year. I always feel like you look good, you feel good, you play good. And that's the goal for, this season. So we're up to a good start.
You touched on a couple of things: the excitement of a new facility for the current students and the coaches, and also, the alums that are coming back and seeing the changes. You also mentioned to me before we started recording that you've got a big homecoming event coming up later in the season. What are some of the things you're doing now to prepare for that, and some of the unique things about it that you shared with me?
Oh, absolutely. So at this homecoming, I'm going to do a pink out, and we're going to, do some fundraising, which we've started now. So after the first quarter of homecoming, I'll present a check to the American Red Cross, and just the donation. I'll donate a check to all of the funds that we have for breast cancer awareness. So that's our biggest project for homecoming. Well, I'm also in the works of getting as many alumni to come back for that homecoming game. Anybody that missed the ribbon cutting ceremony, this is a great opportunity to be able to see the stadium, all the cool effects. But I always do a teacher / faculty tailgate. And so right now I'm in the process of getting donations from different restaurants around here to be able to sponsor that tailgate. So we'll have a big tailgate. we're going to advertise breast cancer awareness. And then, of course, the homecoming court will be out there. But the biggest thing about these football games is just having different things going on, like whether it be per quarter, I have to get with my announcer to make sure that like we are advertising as much as we can. So any of our sponsors that we have, I take the time from timeouts to, like I said, we're going to do a big thing after the first quarter, and then second quarter is when the band will perform, as well as our homecoming court. But the preparation now that I'm done with preparing for the tailgate, it's just going to be getting sponsors and fundraising for breast cancer awareness. It's going to be a nice little pink out.
Oh, wow. Sounds like a great time. I might have to put that date on my schedule and
Yes, come
sneak over
join
there.
us.
Um, Looking at, you mentioned at the very start, and it's true, football really kind of kicks the year off. There's a ton of other sports and they're all important. We all love them, but that Friday Night Lights event, it's a big deal, both for school spirit as well as for income. What are some things that you do? And this will be the last question I stick you with. What are some things that you do during the fall to help make those other sports not feel like they're being neglected? I'm going to guess, you've got volleyball, cross country, of course, golf is a fall sport for Florida. And then you're a pretty big school. You probably have swimming too.
We
So
do.
what are
Yeah.
some things that you do for those fall sports? And we don't want to forget the cheerleaders.
Right. So I try to involve them as much as possible. I personally, show up. I think that as athletic director, that's our biggest thing, is just simply being there and showing up. So after a late Friday night, football game, showing up to a Saturday morning cross country, and it just means the world to the kids by supporting them. We also have an athletic leadership council, which is geared of individuals that play other sports. And the whole idea was to develop, that support for each sport. So I have, people from the golf team that are on there. And so there are kids that, from the football team that have never, been to a golf, event, but now that you have friends that you're always around, now they want to go and support those other sports. And so, I try to keep them as involved, and we support other programs. So, whether or not it's a volleyball game or a swim meet, because we're big with the social media. So there are certain kids that, go out and take pictures. So they show up. They show up to the swim meets. They show up to, golf games, matches. And so I just try to do my best to make that example of I'm going to be there, and then express the importance of supporting each other, we as athletics. So we work as a team. And so, yes, football is the big one, but we also have, our other sports that also need that attention. So we make posters. I do an athlete of the week where I let the coaches submit. So from cheer, I acknowledge cheerleaders when they come, because I have some that are multi-sport. They cheer and they run cross country. And I think that type of stuff
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to be acknowledged, right? So, those are the things that I try to pay very close attention to. But it's just being out there, being around, being involved, knowing your athletes. I think that is the biggest, thing. But these kids, they love seeing, your presence. They love it. So I try to support each program to the best of my ability.
Yeah, the kids, they see who's there. They see the
Mhm.
teachers that come. They see when the AD's there, and it's the easiest way to build whatever you want to call it, a relationship. Just build some goodwill with
Mhm.
kids, teams, coaches, etc., parents, by showing up. I still remember I would be a new AD at a school, and I'd go to the swim meet or I'd go to the cross country race, and they'd be going, we've never had the athletic director here before.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, well, geez, where else, would I be? And I know
Mhm.
you're the same way too. Destiny, some great, great ideas today. Thanks so much for sharing. If one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more, find out how you do things at Orange Park. What's the best way they can get a hold of you?
So the best way is to email me at destiny.brightman@myoneclay.net. You can also follow us on social media at Orange Park Athletics. And so you can call me on my work phone is 904-336-8610. I try to help out just as much as I can, and I respond fairly quickly.
Yeah, Destiny's information is also on the NIAAA membership portal for NIAAA members, and she's got a really strong social media game. She's on Instagram, quite a bit,
Yes.
so it's easy to get a hold of her. Destiny, thanks again for sharing. All the best with the rest of your fall sports, and we'll look forward to seeing you this fall, or worst case, at Orlando for the NADC conference.
Yes, thank you, Jake. Always nice to be on here.
And got to get it in. Congratulations on your book release.
Oh, thank you. For those of you all, if you'll go out and purchase this All-Star Athletic Directors book, you can get it off of Amazon, edited by our very own Jake Bonshare. But yes, I was super excited to be in there.
And all proceeds go to the FIAAA, our state
Yes.
organization. So, Destiny, again, thanks for coming on, and we will see you down the road. Okay?
Thank you.
For our listeners, we do this every single week, and of course, we appreciate you listening. We upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Come back next week for another great Wednesday Wisdom segment, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, we do want to give a shout out one more time to our podcast sponsors. Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com. Scheduling, athlete clearance, coaches clearance, you'll find it all at homecampus.com. Speaking of home, Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. Get signed up today. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to check out all of their great products. Gipper. Gipper.com is your answer, your solution for social media posting. Celebrate your teams, celebrate your athletes. Go to Gipper.com. Mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. If you're looking for a fundraiser, go to SnapRaise and you're done. SnapRaise.com, hands down the best fundraiser out there, but they also offer a lot more. You can find it all at SnapRaise.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame is a great way to display your school records, your school record boards, your Hall of Fame, and simply tell the story of your school and all of the accomplishments. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Once again, mention this podcast, you'll get a nice discount. Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. An athletic director, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, 8 million, and turn your school into a Huddle school. And finally, athletic surveys by LifeTrack. At my schools, we use surveys for everything, teachers, coaches, parents, you name it. And the information that we gathered was tremendously valuable. Most of it is overwhelmingly positive too. And that's pretty cool to have when you're talking to a frustrated parent. Go to athleticsurveys.com to find out all the things they can do. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Wednesday Wisdom. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.